All right, so we're gonna go through a quick little tutorial on the pull-ups, the beginner pull-up. Like we talked about, for strength purposes, we're building up towards 8 reps before we look to change the exercise. So it's very technical on form. We want to pull the chin above the bar, or even more so to here, to the neck. So we're going for beginners. We're looking for 3 sets of 3 to 8 repetitions. Hands facing us first. This is level 1 I'm talking about in terms of my little pull-up progression. Hands are first, always coming down the locked out elbow. You want to pull up, chin above the bar, 1 count, and down. 1 count, and down 2. 1 count, 3. 1 count, 4. 1 count, 5. 1 count, until we hit 8. Or our best effort. Now, if we weren't able to hit 8, if we crapped out at 3, that's a good start. With 3, we start with 3 reps to addition and give stress that's needed to the body for it to adapt. If we're able to go for 8 and maintain that, we try that this week, because it's the first week that you're working towards it, so you don't necessarily go to the most advanced pull-up. But yeah, that's the workout for the beginner. Working that 3 to 8 reps. So if you're able to do 5 reps on the first, but you can't do 3 sets of 5, then you start with 3 sets of 3 reps. If you can do 1 set of 8, but you can't do 3 sets of 8, you start with 5 reps. 3 sets of 5 reps. If you can't even do 5 reps, you could barely do 3, so then you start with 2s. 4 sets of 2 reps.
So obviously testing yourself first before
You always have to take that first little test to see what your true ability is. And then from there, using that scale to gauge your repetitions.
Makes sense. So what do we have next here?
Next, we're going to go through a push-up. We're going to talk about horizontal pushing and the little problem we see about flaring elbows. Flaring elbows are cool and enables you to do more, but we want to make a push-up harder so we develop greater strength. One way to do a harder push-up, like I said, is to tuck the elbow. So if you're unable, like I said, we're doing beginners. So in the very beginning, I'll allow not 90-degree flexion, but more like 45-degree, 30 to 45-degree in here. 90-degree is not good, it's bad for the shoulder. Here is better. So can you do, once again, 8 reps, testing the first set out. A lot of times in the push-up, what you'll notice is bad hip position. We always want to keep the shoulder in line with the hip, and I'll demonstrate. So, shoulders in line with the hip. Come to the side for me. A lot of times you'll see hip position here. As people, that's a wrong push-up. You want to bring the hip up, shoulder height. You'll see flaring elbows to here. That's wrong. You want to rotate those elbows inward. Keep them here. Pushing. Trying to move in unison. Trying not to fish up your push-ups. Really keeping the hips up, chest engaged, elbows tucked. In the greatest phase, we allow a little flaring of the elbows, but nothing greatly like to here like we see a lot of the time. Once again, beginners, if you can do 10, we want to see 3 sets of 10, or 8. If you can't even do 8 for 2-3 sets, you start at working 5. 3 sets, 5, until you build up to the 8 or 10. If you can't even do 5, you work at 3 sets of 3 or 2 until you build up to that 8 or 10.
Makes sense. So we have anything else for?
We have another exercise. So we'll talk about a lot of horizontal pushing and that whole upper cross syndrome we spoke of earlier. Now we want to address that and deal with the imbalance. So I talked about horizontal pulling and the ability to do the contrary of all the pushing to help balance out our posture. So we want to pull horizontally, usually pulling same place you'd press from. We want to pull to that exact area. So always going, pull on an incline. These are horizontal rows here. Like I said, in this range, you want to be able to do 12 to 15. Now, this is very easy. We want to make it as hard as possible by getting ourselves horizontal to the floor, and in best cases, having our feet up and our chest and shoulders down in a lower position. This is done, we got to deleverage our positioning, so we get a lower bar, Get a lower bar, same positioning, pulling, chest should hit the bar, straight arms, repping out. You should be able to do just about as many of these as you can do in push-ups. And if you can't, there lies the imbalance.
So you figure it out by executing the actual exercise and see
Uh-huh.
how long it takes you to get fatigued.
So you'll notice if you're greater at push-ups, you're going to notice that inability. You may break the set. If I'm saying give me 3 sets of 15, you ain't got 15 horizontal pulls in you. I mean, I put one of my boys through it the other day. As strong as he is, he was so shocked that he couldn't do it. He was like, what the hell? He was tripping out, but because he doesn't do the horizontal pull like that. So it's important to do it. It's important to increase the difficulty by bringing yourself more and more horizontal to the floor. You'll see the higher up ones, and that's easy. We're talking about strength, so it's got to be hard. You got to be struggling to get those reps out.
Definitely. So, man, thanks
Repetitions again for the beginner. On the pull, we're always talking about quality over quantity, so we always want to go to the touch. Once again, we're trying to get 12 to 15 there. Can you do 12 to 15 for 3 sets? Good. If you can't do it. If not, starting with 8, working your way up to the 12. Can't do 8, start with 5. Working your way up to the 8 and then the 12. Can't do 5, starting with those 3. But you will be able to do the 5. That's a minimum requirement, especially in a horizontal pull. So you find a good level of incline, pulling your sternum to the bar, adjusting your feet position, and then from there you're allowing yourself out until...
So the magic number is 5. That basically...
Yeah, 5 for basic strength. In terms of like mid-range strength development is 5.
Sounds good.
5 to 8. 8 at the higher range, you're building higher strength, a little more size comes in. But when you're talking about max strength, just ability to build on is to get to that 5 reps.
Sounds good, man. So once again, I appreciate it.
Thank you all.
And
hopefully that was helpful. Like I said, please follow up again. We're going to be doing this again, put out a couple more vids, a little more specific towards some of the more specified goals people may have. But hope you enjoy it and hope it was pleasurable.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank y'all.